It's over, people. The season is over and done. This is the end of the Warriors forevermore. Throw Webby out. We're in panic mode. We're in crisis mode. It is the end of all things Warriors. No, but I get what people are feeling. I know there's a lot of those types of thoughts out there. And maybe I'm here to help lift you up. And actually, by the end of it, I might not even make you even more sadder. But anyway, guys, just joking. Anyway, give us a like and subscribe here to wahsup TV. And here I'm going off the top after a day of reflecting and being on Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, trying to get information, see how people are reacting. At the end of the day, it's really about how I react and how I view it. So, and that's why you were here, probably. But look, my overall takeaway from that game is that once the tape is out on you, and it's hard to, and people can see they can get at you, if you let them feel it and know that you're vulnerable, they will take advantage of it. This is almost 3 weeks straight, and probably you could tie it into earlier in the season as well, where teams have figured out a few of our weaknesses, and they're glaringly obvious, and they're not afraid to really go at us. They know there's some vulnerability there, and they're more than willing to be patient and wait to pounce. Look, I think as fans, our expectations, well, are probably changed now, because we're not so looking like the top 4 team that we were hoping to be at the start of the season. And now we're just looking for a win against anyone. But I think there's no way of jump-starting this. There's no way of we're all of a sudden going to fix everything. The guys are going to have to really dig deep in every game from now on. It shouldn't be an expectation of 13 plus. I think we're going to be looking at tough games. And the teams that we beat, the Titans, the Dragons last year, they did a number on us. So that tells you about the easy wins aren't going to be there this year. And we may not be that team as strong as we were last year. So that changes how we should view our team right now. But let's break it down. I think obviously the first 20 minutes and consistently you can see a pattern that our shape and structures look really good at the start of games. Those tries we put on, it's not like we haven't seen it before. When we build pressure the right way and we get into our attacking sets, it's beautiful to watch, So the try to C&K was well worked, well structured. Same with AFB, great ball by SJ to get over the line. Everything just looks really good. But then teams are more than willing to hang in that grind and know, based off of our defensive patterns and how we've been going, that they can target parts of the field and feel comfortable that they can get some results. I mean, that first try, it felt as though we were about 20 minutes in probably, and we were building really well, and then they send the ball down the left side and they attack Sean and Barry, and they get a number out of Dallin just jamming in a little bit, and all of a sudden all the pressure that we've built has just fallen away. And that's where I'm going to go back to the style that we play. People are complaining, why don't we contest these kicks, etc. I get it. But the ultimate focus for what Webby wants to do is to put the kick up, stop them at the 5 to 10 meter line and make them work out of their own end, and trust that our defense will be able to keep them pinned down, and then they'll kick it from their 30, and then we catch the ball on our 40. That's the ideal way of looking at the system. Unfortunately, we've been getting so dominated in the ruck that pattern is now falling back on us and punishing us. Teams are coming out of their own end and making it almost to the 50 meter, 40 meter yard line. And then they had a good kicker in Boyd yesterday, and he just putting the ball in good spots. So he got almost 4 40-20s, it felt like. It was like he was kicking every, and so there was that pattern of trying to win the grinded out style that we want to play and pin teams down there. It's all being left to waste, because, again, if you're going to leak a long range try like that, you've just tried to build all this pressure and you're tired in doing it, and you release the valve so quickly that it's almost like it's a waste of time. It feels like that as a fan. And then likewise, when they get on your try line and you let them score within one set or maybe 1-2 sets max, that kind of defeats the purpose of why we're playing the way we are. So I found that we pretty much the style we're trying to play, we can't play it right now, and we keep pursuing with it, but it's also almost like we don't have the manpower, or the team's energies just dropped off, or players have regressed, that it's no longer working. And I think the other part is teams are figuring that out, and they're not afraid of our pack. I think that's the ultimate thing. Like, I was talking with Ash last night about how, like, they're probably going to the dressing room now and they've seen the tape and thinking, bro, we can beat the Warriors if we just hang in there for 20 and we get, we play high percentage footy, we play grinded out versus their grinded out, our grinded out will beat them. Whereas, if you look at like someone like a Panthers, they've intimidated teams so much that, last year Seabold said the game plan is to kick on the first. We just want to get rid of the ball. And that's because of the fear that and the consistency that Penrith have played with, that they intimidate teams before they even play them. Whereas I think teams like now, like Flanagan, Seabold, they said, no, there's data there that says we can attack that right edge and get some results. And it still hasn't been fixed. And the goal line defense is just as bad as it was earlier on. So there's data there that says that teams are not afraid of you, and they know your weaknesses and they know how to exploit that. So, I think we are missing guys like a Bunty and a Jazz, guys that are clean-up guys, can keep the work around the ruck tight. A lot of shifting. I mean, Laban was great to start off with, but then he got bounced out, and so you're missing like a Capewell in terms of just work rate. But at the same time, it's nice to see a Laban with a bit more line speed, a bit more of a running threat. So we're kind of in this really mix of like, what are we trying to achieve? Because the big question for me is like, I would want a new quarter out there by SJ. Feels like he's got a bit more leg movement, can help support SJ. SJ's getting targeted a ton right now. Why can't we get, well, will that be the change when he comes back? Or will we stick to this playing the Capewell for 80 minutes, get the work out of him, and then kind of get a extra bench rotation? There's just going to be questions asked about what we're trying to do. If we're not getting enough on attack, what can we get from our back rowers? And if they're defending all the time, then what's the point in having them when people are just going to drift off them and move to the outside? So, yeah, I just think game model is starting to be really questioned now, in the sense that we either don't have the personnel to really fix it, and that's why I'm willing to be very patient and say, I'm going to wait till everyone comes back. I'm going to wait a little while and see how things gel, because let's be honest, this game model hasn't changed. It was successful last year. It has struggled this year, but I'll need to wait a few more weeks to see if it's really dependent on guys being healthy, like a Marata, a Walker, or have we been totally figured out? And it doesn't matter who you bring in, the system itself is flawed. That's the big question. Because I don't see guys, obviously it's very risk-averse system. We're trying to play through the hands literally on every play. You can talk about how, at the end of the game, when we actually started to put grubbers and build pressure differently, we started to find some energy and momentum. So it's almost like, for me, do we need to go through the system all the time? Or can we play a bit more eyes up and maybe get more grubbles in behind? I think we're so at the moment stuck on. We have to build pressure through all of this intricate passing in the V shape and getting these certain looks. I think sometimes just put up a bomb and get a contested jump for Dallin and he might score a try. Put up a bomb and Berry might score one. Like, that's some of the things you got to really think about, is that. I just think that sometimes we need to be able to adapt to that. I mean, we slowly got that in the end, but I mean, you look at how much ball we had on their try line and they were just defending and turning us away. It's like, well, we just can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So, but anyway, back to the game. Yeah, and then I felt the tries. Obviously, Sean got targeted. Fafita, I know he's tough, but you got to stop him there in that position. I think there's Laban was just youthful and overstretched himself a little bit, and Boyd cut back inside. So there's a bit of things happening, like, depth. We are struggling for depth, quality depth. I'm not saying Laban and that won't be good in time, but they've only had 2 or 3 NRL games. So you're going to have those errors. So, we were stripped for the experience depth that we had. But at the same time, just the middle of games, we're just dropping off massively, and it just feels as though our starting front rowers, if we don't have them, it's like the energy just drops completely. I think Tom Ali at the moment is more of an impact forward in terms of what Zion was doing. He's more of that. He's not really a clean-up guy like what Jazz and Bunty do. So I think we're missing a bit of that clean-up work. I think Walker's good. I think he's just finding his feet. I think he was really nice to see him. I think Tohu came off and he was able to stay on and kind of get at first receiver. But then again, like the runners went, no one was really around him, supporting him, or in the communication. You could just tell at times our lines and that are just way off. Like guys aren't even hitting the spots at the right time. Feels as though guys haven't been integrated in the system. Like I think that they hardly did any training last week. And if SJ's out most of the time, and if you're so dependent on him setting everything up or being part of the plays, then you're just going to fall back into these moments when you just nothing's set up, nothing's working. So yeah, there's a bit to discuss about that as well. But I thought Walker was okay, and I think he'll come right. And then I thought, bro, big up Zion Moe, man. As soon as he came on, the energy just lifted, and everyone just started to run harder and hit the lines. And I think that's a big thing too. Is like the system actually needs consistent momentum to be able to kind of generate for itself. Like I think part of what Egan is happening with him, he's not getting enough, guys breaking the finals line or winning the tackle to be able to generate anything for himself. So it's almost like whenever there's not enough, if we're not getting enough leg speed and drive, then nothing's open for him. So he's not going to force it, obviously, because there's nothing there. So it's got big question marks around what can we do to kind of get some more energy in the middle of the game. But I thought Zion was awesome, and then you just saw after that set, everything just picked up. So that's really good impact right there. That for me is like, okay, that's what we need when the game's going tough. And he kind of turned the momentum around just through his carries and even just some of his lead lines, attracting people. So I really like what he's doing, and I think definitely get him in while Bunty and all that are out. He's definitely got to be in the mix every week, I'd say. But yeah, and then it just sort of, I mean, we leaked in so much points, and then once things kind of settled down, we got back into the game. I think AFB scored another one, and then, okay, let's just be honest, the try that RTS scored, I thought it was just a bit of I don't know why the bunker reached for that. That happens all the time. It's minimal. Is it a knock-on? Maybe technically, but that stuff happens all the time when guys are grabbing like that. And yeah, I didn't get it. But anyway, didn't happen. That's not the reason why we lost. But still, nice to see some kind of tries off of kicks. I mean, obviously the Berry one was great. And so, yeah, but I just think the last 7 or 8 minutes or whatever, and we just got repelled, and like just the offense was just non-existent, wasn't working. And the example for me is the left side. I just not getting anything quality, but also the system. I mean, the deep V, I can understand where it is, but the flaw in the deep V is that because your wingers are so far back, you get no flat cutout passes at all. You literally just have to. So if that winger jams in on that second guy to the center, the pass that Sean's got to give to the winger is almost. He's almost like 4 or 5 meters back, and so then that covering half or center can get across to Dallin in time. And the same for Montoya on the other side, is that if you can jam it, there's no cutout passes. So if you look at a team that plays more flat, and they can kind of get the defensive line back a little bit more, you got the cutout, a flat pass to the winger sometimes. Whereas this system, it's almost like the winger is 5 yards behind. If you pass it to him, he's catching it 5 yards behind, and then the recovering center or half is almost already there, and he's not able to get there. Now, when it's worked well is when Dallin scored 24 tries pretty much off of it. But if you're not, if teams are kind of rushing you early, you see a lot of the time when someone rushes either the center or whatever, and Sean can't find anyone because Dallon's 5 meters back, and he can't really pass to anyone. Same for the other side. If Tamaiti's getting rushed, he can't really find anyone because they've already jammed in. So there just needs to be something in terms of variation. I think there needs to be a really hard look at what are we doing to set up outsides, and what can we do? Do we need to play a flatter line, or more of a take 3 guys up in a kind of a lateral look, more horizontal, and then maybe do a flat cutout pass, or keying off of that a bit better? I think some of that needs to be looked at, because I think it's just there's too much times now where Tamaiti's getting jammed or RTS is getting jammed, and it's like these guys aren't generating anything attack-wise. And maybe on the left side, you can maybe have a flatter line with Tamaiti picking out a pass. And I think that's maybe where it needs to be looked at a little bit in attack. But attack overall, I just think it's okay. But, it's still getting predictable in terms of teams are getting off their line and they're, shading to the outside or whatever. Teams are up for it, and they can figure out what you almost set for set, what plays you're going to play. So we're in a bit of a tricky spot where predictability is high, but we need to figure it out. But back to goal line defense. Goal line defense is just horrible right now. We just got too many things going wrong at the moment. I think a lot of it might be the right edge in terms of we might need a new quarterback. Same time, it's like we can't control the ruck for whatever reason at the moment. Guys aren't holding in the tackle. We're dropping off. We're falling off like flies. Like, we're getting them to the ground, but they're in dominant positions. There's already 1 or 2 guys dropped off, and they're just working the ruck really well and getting those 50, 60 meter sets, and then they're kicking in. I thought Boyd again was just perfect. So again, it's if we want to play ball and play and grind it out, we're kind of like suffering from our own system at the moment, and teams are just doing too well to beat that. So overall, it's poor. It's definitely poor, but it's not like it can't be fixed. I think, look, you got 10 days to kind of iron a few things out. You got 10 days to actually find some things that work. Like for me, RTS at centre, we're not getting him on the outside. We're not getting him on the outside of guys, and whether that he's coming up against speed opposition or they're just jamming him really early and realizing if there's an early shift, just push in on RTS, and then he'll cut back inside. How can we counter that? What can we do? We don't have a Metcalf with speed that can dummy and go if they do, jam RTS. We're working with Tamaiti here. What are the things we can do, to generate some more energy for these guys? Right side attack is having its own issues as well at times. We just got to really look at what's working. Egan isn't getting the same looks that he had. Why is that? What can we do to improve these things attack-wise? And then defensively, what is happening? Where are we breaking down? Webby's got, I think it's going to be a tough 10 days. You can tell, like, mentally, I think he's feeling it. The team are feeling it. Tohu looks tired. It's great to have Walker back, and maybe he tightens things up a little bit. But we need some fresh legs, some fresh ideas a little bit. There's not panic stations for me. I know people have already quit. Some people are just out on the Warriors, and hey, whether they were Warriors fans or not, that's how it is. But for me, it's not panic stations. It's sort of you need to kind of find out what you're made of right now. And it's a stark reality that you lost to the bottom team that hasn't won a game yet, and they almost dominated you. And again, it's teams aren't. We're playing this battle in the middle of the field, and then we're just releasing the valve really quickly. Like, come through. Like, we're trying to play this really tight, grinded out style, and then you're letting them off the hook with one play, or within 6 tackles on your goal line. Like, that's not grinded out footy. That's not what the system is supposed to do. So you got to ask your questions like, what's struggling on defense? Do we need to make adjustments? We're just getting outclassed, outbeaten by teams that we think that shouldn't be on our level. Well, now we're thinking about it, saying what has happened and what do we need to do. I think the other thing to throw caution to is that, I think even moving RTS to left wing won't solve much. And if you bring in Pompey, I think you're still finding the same problems. I think there's just, until things structurally change on that left side. Look, yeah, he'll do great yardage work. He might do some better finishing than Montoya, but he's had a few drops of the ball as well. He's made a few mistakes. Is he a guy that you can completely trust? I wouldn't say so. So it's almost like we're in a spot right now where we have to either play, Pompey and RTS. I'm not saying he's doing bad. I'm just saying people need to change the expectations of this guy that was a 2018 Dally M winner. That's not the same guy, and it's a different position, and he's not the same quality in this position as what he would have been at a fullback. And even moving him to fullback for Chance, I don't think it will change much anyway. There's just something that's happening right now across team wide that it's become a little bit predictable. It's become a little bit we're just struggling right now. But like I said, I honestly don't think you can jumpstart this problem. I think they're going to have to really dig deep to find the solutions. I mean, and again, Webby's going to have to make some adjustments and trust in some guys a bit more, because you can't keep pushing these guys to the mental brink and thinking they can get up for this game. They can get up for this game. Yeah, we're gonna get up. We're gonna do it. Until you get found out like the Dragons and the Titans did yesterday. Sorry, and then once you've used up all that mental power and stuff, you can lose guys from that point on. So. But it's not panic stations, just things to think about. Hopefully they can correct it. But I'm still confident that we'll get back on board with a few little tweaks. But yeah, excited. I'm still faithful that we'll get the job done. We'll get things right. But it is what it is right now. Got to find a way. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's my review. Let me know what you think. Give us a like and subscribe. Always appreciate you guys' support and everyone in the comments sharing their views and opinions, and we may differ at times, but it's all good. It's all love. Up the wahs. Catch you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.